This is Fidel Sierra, the Cuban Assassin, and you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Hello, and welcome to Live and in Color with Wolfie D and my man Jimmy across the street. Jimmy, I'm healing up, still in quite a bit of pain, as they say.
Yes.
But it's getting better, man. A little bit of getting off the walker this week and moving to the cane somewhat, but
yeah.
That even gets a little strenuous to where, it's like, I better go back to the walker.
Right. Yeah.
And honestly, the physical therapist that comes to my house, she told me, she said, I actually think you're doing a little too much. So that's actually good to hear because, when I had the knee surgery and had the blood clot and the pulmonary embolism, I wasn't doing enough apparently. And I definitely don't want to go through that again. So
no. Yeah.
Is what it is, man.
I mean, do you feel like there's something different in your hip now other than the pain? Like, do you feel like does it feel different, unnatural? I'm just curious.
Only because the joint is weak and loose from where they had to cut the tendons and cut the muscles and all that to get in there and do what they do. It feels loose. So I could feel it like popping around in there, we'll say. So it's not tight,
Yeah.
Which is a weird feeling.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, it's all right, man. Just, doing what they tell me and stuff. And I'm ready to get on with it.
No doubt. I'm sure you're ready to get off that shit and get going, I'm sure. But, I'm thinking, man, like, you remember when you probably weren't even watching wrestling at this time, but it was during the time when Roddy Piper was coming to WCW and like he pulled up his kilt and showed his hip to Hogan and them and the NWO and stuff. And I'm just like, man, Wolfie needs a spot like that where he's like, look what I've done to my hip. You say this, you tell me I don't love this business, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So Booker's booked that, but I don't know how much else you'll get out of him. I'm not trying to put you in a match. I'm just trying to
don't put me
get you in that Piper spot, So anyway, yeah, man. But yeah, you'll be back good as new very soon, I'm sure. So yeah.
So I am excited about our guest today.
Man, me too. Yeah,
it's somebody that I hadn't I don't think I've crossed paths with him, but then again, I feel like I have. But
yeah.
Fidel Sierra, the Cuban Assassin, is going to be with us here shortly, and brother's been everywhere, man.
Dude, literally everywhere, man. He's when I was putting pen to paper and doing the research on this guy, man, I'm just like, holy cow, it's not over with. There's more to go, Yeah. So very impressed
with him. I've been on the phone
awesome.
with him, a couple of times before now, and super nice guy, man. So this should be fun.
Yeah, I remember really the first time seeing him that I can remember fully, and I know I'd seen him before, but wrestling Hacksaw and WCW and stuff, man, and it was just like, just a cool, right. That's the other thing is who hasn't he wrestled?
Yeah, man.
Maybe other than you, maybe.
Yeah, he ain't wrestled me. I ain't up in his class, man.
Well, I mean,
No, but I'm ready to talk to him, man. Let's,
all right,
get him on here.
All right. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, folks, to get your official Live and in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to prowrestlingtees.com/live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
All right, guys, we're back as usual. A great guest coming on today. I always say that, Jimmy, but man, we're just lucky, and I say that a lot too, man. But we really are. I'm blessed to have folks in the business that are nice enough to come on here and talk to us.
Absolutely.
So today we have got somebody that's been, man, he's been around everywhere, man. This dude has wrestled in pretty much every territory and every company, man. The Cuban Assassin, Fidel Sierra.
Oh, man. Thank you guys for having me on, man. And I've been all over the world, like you just said. And
yeah, man, you really have.
3 or 4 times and had some great times all over it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Man.
Yeah.
It really is, man. When I was thinking about it, and I don't know why I really hadn't thought about trying to contact you earlier, because I've been on your social media for a long time, and we haven't crossed paths, I don't believe. And that's probably why, because sometimes it's just like, I don't really know this person or whatever, but I'm trying to branch out and talk to people that I don't know and get their stories, man. Tell me, what was your favorite, as far as the territories now? I'm not talking about Puerto Rico and stuff and Japan. I'm talking about just the territories of the United States. Which one was your favorite? Probably Portland and all that?
Yes, Portland, Oregon, definitely. Don Owen's promotion there, Don Owen's Pacific Northwest Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Don was one of the greatest promoters I ever worked for. Such a great payoff, man, too,
That's what we've heard, yeah.
And he ran with a 12-guy crew, like 6 heels and 6 baby faces, and one of the baby faces would end up wrestling and help Luke Brown referee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Then put it in a battle royal at the end of the night.
Right.
Exactly. Nowadays, I look at it and I say, man, you could never get away with that nowadays.
No, that sounds like a Memphis Buddy Wayne show, man. me and Jamie we had midgets with us. So I'd work Danny Davis. Jamie would work Ken Wayne. The midgets would work each other. Then we'd come back in a 6-man. And then they'd have Lawler on top and one of those his Buddy Wayne spot shows, man.
Yeah, that's
good old days.
Yeah,
but so tell us more about the Portland area, man. I never went up there. The only person, I'm not gonna say the only person, but somebody I was really close to that did a lot of Portland stuff was Steve Dahl.
God bless Steve Dahl.
Yeah, talk about Steve and Portland and stuff, man.
I should tell you this: Steve Dahl already had been in Portland as. I did 3 different characters there. I was a destroyer, then I lost the loser leave town. Then I came back as the assassin. Don didn't care that there was already another destroyer, another assassin. And I questioned him on that. He'd say, I don't care. This is my territory. And, so then I lost as the assassin of loser leave town, went to Japan for 5 weeks. And then the movie Top Gun had just come out, and I had this gear made up with Top Gun on the side of the deal, and I would play the music, da-na-na-na-na, and people really, it got over, man. I was doing crazy Polaroid picture cells and 8x10 picture cells, and just, But I'll tell you, Steve Dahl's first interview, God bless him, I loved Steve, and I loved his partner, Scott Peterson at the time.
Oh yeah,
and God bless them both. They're both gone. But I remember Steve was up on an interview, and it was me and Rip helping and doing like the booking. And Steve got stuck on his interview up there, and he goes, "Man, go save one." So I ran up there, and I said, "Steve Dahl." I never knew Steve Dahl. Never worked anywhere with him, right? Steve Dahl, them great trips we had in Dallas, up and down the highways, and here you are in Portland, and and it got him like unfroze him, and then he rode with it, But you get stuck, when you haven't had that much promo time, and he had, and this was like maybe his first break he was getting, and it helped him, bro. They were over too, They went to Southern Rockers.
Right. I do recall that. And then I guess Rex King, did Rex King work up there with him?
Yeah,
too?
Then later on, God bless Rex King, I got him booked there, and then Scott Peterson had left, and it was Rex King and Steve Dahl.
Yeah. He's gone too, man.
Yeah, man, all our brothers are gone.
was watching something the other day, and I was the only person in the whole segment that was still alive. I was like, man.
Yeah, me too. I was watching the match the other day, and I said to my wife, I said, look at everybody in the ring. I'm the only one still here.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard, man. And, you know, I talked to Ricky Santana. We talk about it. You know, I said, you know, I said, I wake up every day. I said, I made it through another night, you know.
Yeah. You woke up this morning, man.
That's it. God gave me another day.
So, do you have any funny stories about Steve and Rex? Because I was pretty close to both of them.
Yeah, God.
And take your time. We can edit it.
It was funny, but I got to tell you a story about Playboy Buddy Rose, God bless, too.
Okay.
Oh, please.
What a rib they pulled on me. We used to have to fly every other week. We didn't have to. We would fly. It would be me, Rip, Buddy Rose, and the pilot in one of his little single-engine Cessna. We'd fly to Bellevue, Washington, land there, then get in the car and cross the border, do TV, a house show and TV, and then fly back. So we're flying back from one of those trips like that, and we're flying back, and I look at I'm like the co-pilot, and this guy Harold was flying the plane, and I go, Harold, we just passed Seattle like 15 minutes in the air, or 10 minutes, whatever. And I said, Harold, you do see that you're running on empty. Pretty close, right? And he goes, don't worry, I got enough to make it to Portland. He made it sound like he thinks I got it, man. I'm like, hey, bro, if you think, you ain't no thinking here. I said, turn this thing around, land in Seattle, and we just need to refuel this. He goes, they're already closed. The pump's still there. And I'm like, okay, so we just land there and we don't fly out to the mall then. I said, no, we'll make it. And now I'm getting a little mad, I'm like, I said, bro, you know what? Look, do you know what? Follow Interstate 5. Because if we start going down, you're gonna land right in the middle of that interstate, right? So there's both times. They're working the hell out of me. I'm going, and we're all, we still got a ways to go to Portland, but we're getting there. And I said, man, I'm telling you, we're not gonna make it, And Buddy Rose and Rip, they're like in on it, and they're like, no, he's got it. I said, no, he ain't got nothing. The thing's all the way on empty. It's not like as far as it can go on empty.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, you're going to have to make an emergency landing here. and then you got to remember, this is with Sandy Barr's plane, and the tires had like patches of them where it was missing on the tires. Like if it hit on that, it could blow a tire.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the running out of gas, all that stuff. And then here we come, and we're landing at Portland, and I'm telling them, if we don't make it and this plane starts going down, you don't have to worry about us crashing because I want to beat your butt before the plane hits and crashes. And so he lands, and then they all start laughing. I said, I'm glad y'all thought that was funny. He goes, because to the left was another deal with a full tank. So they had me. I was really, man, I'll tell you, they really got me on that trip. Buddy, Rip, the pilot had me so convinced that he was just flying on fumes.
Freaking out,
I'm like, man, when we landed, I got out of the plane and I just wanted to knock him out. But
never liked flying.
It was a rib, but I said, man, that's a kind of heavy rib on me.
That's stiff. That's a stiff rib, man. Golly. Man.
But,
that's funny.
And then with Steve Dahl, we'd go and we had where people would actually have us come to their birthdays. You know how people advertise now.
Yeah.
Back then, and people, we did a few where we got a couple $100 or, $300, and me, Steve, and Scott Peterson went just to help, just to make somebody happy for their birthday. But
that's awesome. Man, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, that was like, that was,
Yeah.
But there was a battle there at the end between all of us because I had like 2 or 3 8x10s. And then they had then all of a sudden they had 5 different 8x10s. And then when Ricky Santana came later on, but then all of a sudden, and we were all like, okay, we're all trying to make money here, but if you have 8 8x10s or 5 8x10s and we only got 2, it's kind of like you're giving, you're trying to we're trying to outdo one another when we also just be trying to make a few bucks.
Right. Sounds like Memphis.
Yeah, and it all worked out. Yeah, I'm sure in Memphis y'all had the same thing.
Yeah.
Jerry Lawler probably had 100 pictures 8x10.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Never mind. That's a whole deal.
Yeah.
Whole story there.
I tell you, I love Jimmy Hart though. At all, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
What a relationship.
He loves everybody.
Yeah, he's the best. He is the best.
Yeah, we did some projects together when he was doing that XWF.
Yeah.
But
tell me this. Let me ask you that real quick. I don't want to get off on that topic too much, but did you also get a check from the Home Shopping Network working for them?
No, I never got anything like that.
Oh, okay.
I got paid, but I never got nothing.
Kid Cash said he got a contract or a check or something from the Home Shopping Network. It was like something off the wall, but it was, I guess, maybe because that guy was like a silent partner at first or something. I don't know. You would know better than me.
He could have, bro. I just got straight paid. I mean, we don't want to talk about Puerto Rico, but I helped set up. Jimmy couldn't believe it, the XWF invasion on WWC.
Yeah.
And, we attacked the WWC office and wrote XWF all over. We copied the WWE.
Yeah.
Or NWO deal, but we did it different.
Yeah, that's cool.
We even held Jovica down and didn't want to do it. Ripped his shirt off and put XWF on it.
Nice.
And that was very hard to do, brother.
I bet so. Oh, man.
Back to Portland, I mean, the trips were great. You had every Thursday you had Salem, 50 miles away. Every Friday you had Eugene, which was 110 miles away. And then on Wednesdays you'd either have Medford or, like I said, Seattle or, and Mondays and Tuesdays on the weeks that we weren't in Canada at the time, we would either have Longview, Washington or whatever. But when we had Canada, it was just a very interesting territory to work, the Portland wrestling.
Yeah.
Let's slide on over to Puerto Rico now. Talk about, because I know you had a lot of stuff there, and just the history of Puerto Rico is so crazy. The blood and the violence, and then the people, of course. I mean, everybody, the fans are notorious for being wild and crazy and coming after you, and I've got plenty of those too. Give me some Puerto Rico stuff, man.
Man, when I tell you, I was. First time in Puerto Rico, Carlos Colon had flown down here to Florida, and he asked me, "Hey man, you want to come to Puerto Rico?" And I knew I would have a pretty good spot, so I said sure, and I went there. And then our first TV was me and a guy, a Samoan-looking guy who had like a little ponytail. I can't think of his name at all right now, but. And the first thing we did is there was Jumping Joe Savoti and Al Perez. They were born as Rockers or whatever. Yeah. And first TV angle we did is we jumped them, took their radio they ran to the ring with, and busted the radio on each one of them, and they were bleeding like pigs. And then we stomped the radio to pieces. So then... we did that, and then we were later on in another town, and I remember Ric Flair was there, and I had Al Perez, and Ric Flair wasn't going on till later to defend the world title. And me and Al Perez are having a heck of a match. All of a sudden, the people start fighting upstairs, people trying to come to the ring, and Ric Flair is waving me to get into the dressing room, and we just kept going with the match. Literally with all the people fighting for 5 minutes. And when I get back and Ric Flair goes, "Hey man, you don't never, if people start fighting like that, you get to the dressing room, you're putting all of us in danger by doing that."
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I said, I guess so. I didn't even think about that part. I was just wanting to finish the match the way it should have been, you know?
Yeah. It's a wild place, man. It was something.
Yeah, I had so many
quite
stories,
an experience. Quite an experience, man. Because like I tell everybody, we went down there in '94, which is not too many years after Bruiser Brody was killed. Yeah, and it's like, you know, everybody's telling you what happens, and hey, don't do this, don't do that. The fans, and I think, do you know the story of the Batten twins going to jail down there or whatever?
I was there. I came in, I think, after that already. I was there when they were there a different time after they had gone to jail or something. And I was like, I never could get how they, I guess they went there because they hacked their couch or something.
I've never heard the reason.
Huh?
I said, I've never heard the explanation for it. I just know that they went to jail or something. And
like that. I don't want to say that that's, you know what I mean? Because I ain't no angel myself. But just like I never went to jail in Puerto Rico. But yeah, I heard, you know, but I had crazy stuff in Puerto Rico myself.
Give it to me. Give me. I want to hear the funny shit.
Yeah. Well, this ain't funny. I'll tell you, I was doing an angle with Invader.
Yeah.
And
the one that killed Brody.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I always tell people. He says he did, you know, whatever, but two people went into the shower. One guy came out alive. The other guy got blessed, Bruiser Brody. So it's obvious, you know. But so I'm working him after all this junk. And we're doing a heck of an angle, and my wife's interfering, hitting him with a brick in the purse and all that gimmick. And so we're doing this angle, and all of a sudden, they're doing a pull-apart with us. We go back in the dressing room. You know, the Hills and Babies are separate there. And the next thing I know, here comes Invader into the dressing room, grabs my wife by the hair, drags her out. And I'm like, what the heck? I start punching him, and he felt like he needed that. Now, later on, I find out he decided that it wasn't enough what we did out there. He felt like it needed to be heated up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, he's got my wife by the hair. I'm punching him in the face. He lets go of her. I got like a front face lock on him. And Carlos, Colon, Ricky, they all come running out. And you can see Carlos and Ricky, please, you know, like they didn't want to see something stupid happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, the bottom line is I got all this hair of my wife's hair and put it all in a baggie.
Yeah.
And I went to the office 2 days later, and I tell Carlos, what is this shit all about?
Oh.
You know, and Carlos was like, you know, Carlos understood that, you know, he said, we don't know what got into him. I said, you know, believe me, we drew like 18,000, whatever that BMO holds when we finally had a Hart punch match and all that junk. But I seen him, and he had the nerve to ask me, he said, amigo, were you really mad at me? And I said, what the F do you think, bro? Of course I was hot at you. This wasn't even part of the gimmick, and you just come in and
grab all that.
But, you know, it's so, you know, and I had stupid moments with him, and how I didn't end up getting killed by him. Believe me, I don't understand that. But, you know, and then one time I was walking to go out. I can't think of the name of the town, and he's in a small separate dressing room, but you have to both look out of the SIBO or something like that. And he says, Fidel, come here. And it's just him and me. And he goes, you know, amigo, a lot of people don't understand about him, what happened between me and bro. I said, whoa, stop right there. I said, why do you want to talk to me or tell me any of this? I don't want to talk about it. I said, Brody was a friend of mine. We're feuding. I just let's cut, boom, and I walked away.
Yeah.
You know,
not appropriate at the moment.
They had a lot of history. I mean, there was a lot of more before that went on. But you know, I love Brody. He stayed. Anytime he came to Atlanta, he stayed with me. Anytime, anywhere we rode together or whatever, you know. And I love Barbara Goodish, and you know, I just think it's tragic that had to happen that way. And
it is. Where would you see him? Let's just say that wouldn't have happened. Where would he been at in the 90s, the late 90s, the Attitude Era? Do you think he would eventually work for Vince and been a superstar?
Brody?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would have, but God bless Rick. If he was hard to deal with if he didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or, I remember, he would come in sometimes in shorts and they'd get on him and he would say, I'll do what I want to do. That was Frank,
Right.
Ain't nobody was going to make him wear dress up pants and a dress shirt.
Yeah.
If he didn't want to.
I mean, something in me just can see like a Undertaker Bruiser Brody feud in the WWF.
Oh, that would have been
Attitude
great,
Era. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been unreal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like kind of like how Terry Funk and Mick Foley did. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Kind of like.
Yeah, no, I think that would have been like unreal business, and
Yeah.
God bless.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. Well, I mean, there's some glare. I mean, bro, your resume speaks for itself. There's no question. I was so excited once Wolfie said, hey, man, we're getting the Cuban Assassin on, Fidel Sierra. I'm like, man, I'm thinking all the times I saw you on TV. I'm looking, and then I get to studying your history, right? So, like, I'm remembering you from my memory, and then I start researching you, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy's like the Forrest Gump of wrestling, kind of. You know what I mean? And one thing I've got to ask you, because and maybe there's more stories and I don't want to stop you from telling better stories, but one thing that stands out is you worked in World Class for the Von Erichs, and you worked in, of course, in like Watts and Mid-Atlantic and Japan and Mexico, but you also worked in Stampede for the Harts. I would love to hear some kind of like contrasting and comparing of the Von Erich and the Harts as far as their promotions.
I started in 78 for the Von Erichs. I mean, that's
right.
The first territory I went to.
Right.
But then when I was in Stu Hart's territory, Lynn Denton got me there.
Okay.
And it was crazy. They had a guarantee, and I got there and wasn't even there 2 weeks, and we had just beat Eric Emery and Bobby Fulton for the North America, whatever their Calgary tag team belts were.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And they all of a sudden started taking taxes out of the grapplers' pay.
Oh.
And he said, if they do this next week, bro, I'm leaving. And I said, well, if you're leaving, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
This is a funny story though, but he said, yeah, but you just got here. I said, yeah, but as soon as I've been here as many weeks as you here, they're going to try to do the same thing to me. And all he asked for was, I just want to stay on my guarantee.
Right.
Take out the taxes, but just still leave me. That it comes down to that same guarantee.
Right.
So anyway, they did it. And the bottom line is we went and cashed our checks. We had the tag belts. We went 2 blocks away. Eric and Bobby Fulton stayed. And Lenny told Bobby Fulton, Eric, you know how to small package? And they did a small package in their apartment. And I counted 1, 2, 3, and we gave them in a brown paper bag. We threw the belts. Tell Stu Hart, you guys are the new tag champions. And we flew out and left. Bro,
wow.
I had so much heat.
Oh, man.
Stu Hart didn't talk. Stu, Brett, all of them, it took years. The first one to talk to me was Owen in Japan after it broke the ice, but he wouldn't even talk to me. God bless him.
Owen was the nice one, right?
Yes. And then Brett was like, took a long time for Brett to ever speak to me.
I mean, he holds a grudge. You know that. Brett can hold a grudge.
But I really liked working there. Leo Burke was the booker, and I liked work. And they tried to gimmick me. Everybody, Stu Hart, always got everybody with that forearm he would throw.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a shooting forearm. So Leo Burke goes, yeah, we want you to do this, and Stu's going to come out and give you this forearm. I said, yes, I'm doing everything minus the Stu Hart giving me the forearm. That ain't happening.
Right.
And then Leo Burke laughed because he knew he was setting me up to get a stiff one.
Yeah.
But I can tell you another funny story that happened there is,
please,
for those tag belts is, I had to run out. Lenny was wrestling somebody, and they went to suplex Lenny, and I grabbed the foot from the outside, and Lenny fell on top of my held his foot. And as you see, Mark at ringside tripped me as I'm running to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So now, boom, I do the deal, and Lenny gets the 1, 2, 3, and I go straight to the guy that tripped me, and I punched him straight in the face while he's sitting there at ringside. And then he's like, "You're gonna get so sued and all this." And the guy never did nothing, but he did trip the heck out of me. I mean, it was stiff where that kind of kicked me, and I got away with that. But I liked working there, but the trips were like crazy.
Yeah,
and and that's where I met Angel, the original Cuban Assassin.
Right.
Angel was the one that gave me permission. I had a lot of heat with Angel's son, but then he realized to talk to your father. I said, we were supposed to go to Japan together as the Cuban Assassins, and we had taken pictures and everything, and then it didn't work out. And Angel told me, "Man, you go to Florida, whatever, you can use the Cuban Assassin name. I ain't never going to Florida anyway," and da-da-da-da. So I just added Fidel Sierra, the Cuban Assassin.
Yeah.
But, man, those trips were crazy there.
Yeah. It's such a legendary name in the wrestling business. It's such one of those classic just names, that gimmick of the Cuban Assassin. I don't know. I can't remember. Well, for good reason. I was born in 1978, but I can't remember a time not ever knowing that term. You know what I mean? As a wrestling fan, it's always been there. Yeah. So very cool. Very cool that you got that way. How was, when were you up there in Canada?
I don't want to say. I was working for the Crockett's. And I got the phone call. And I was making good money at the Crockett's, but I was wrestling first, third, fourth match at the most. And I was making anywhere from $800 to $1,500 every week. Wow. And that was good money. And
yeah.
And then Lenny said, called me, and so my guarantee was $500 when I went to Calgary. $500 American.
Yeah.
And George Scott was the booker, and he said, "Why do you want to leave here? You're making this much money. You're going to go over there. You're going to hate it." I said, "Yeah, but they're going to give us a push, and I'm going to do interview time and all that." And I feel like that's I'm making less money, but I need that education part of getting used different.
Yeah.
So in other words, instead of just getting beat doing jobs and winning every now and then in Mid-Atlantic, I had a chance to go over there, get some wins on TV, get some interview time, and try to, better my craft.
Right.
So, and that's the way it worked out. But that bottom of the line is after we did that, dropped the belts in the brown paper sack, and I ended up back for George Scott, and George Scott told me, "I tell you, things wouldn't work out there." And I don't remember if Lenny came back at that time too.
Yeah.
But George Scott always told me, even when I left, he said, you always got to, that's the one thing, even I don't go bouncing, but even with Don Owens, he always told me, "I don't care where you're at, what part of the country, if they let you go and you don't you call me, and you always got a place here."
Yeah.
And I used that a couple of times, I used it from Mid-Atlantic, and I'm bouncing back and forth to the guys wrestling there in the Cuban. And I promise I'm not doing no illegal drugs. This is me being crazy. So I went from the Crockett's, then I bounced back to Portland, then I bounced back to Georgia. But that open door policy I had with George Scott and all that, it really helped me out.
So what I guess I meant about being in Canada was, were you up there during the winter time?
Yeah, that's it. Okay, man, those trips were brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd leave on a Monday or something, or we do Monday too. We'd leave on a Tuesday, and we'd go like 400 something miles somewhere, bounced to Butte, Montana, bounced to, from Canada, bounced to Butte, and we would get back on Friday. House show was, we would get back on Friday and do, we'd get back early in the morning. We'd have to be at TV for Friday night. We'd get home like 6 in the morning, sleep whatever we can, and have to go do TV. And then start off, man, that was brutal back then in those days there, you know?
I would imagine. Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Support for Live and in Color with Wolfie D is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WOLFIE at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 8 million balls.
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
And then when I was in Dallas, it was like, I bounced from, I loved working for the Von Erichs. They were so good to me. God bless all those kids. And Gary Hart was the booker. And, you'd work Sunday Dallas and Monday Fort Worth and Tuesday some slot show, and then Wednesday I'd be for Joe Blanchard. No, Tuesday I'd be for Joe Blanchard in San Antonio, and then we.
So, have you seen the movie yet? The Iron Claw movie?
Yeah, I've seen the movie. I like.
What was your take on it, without any spoilers? I think we know the story.
Unfortunately,
I haven't seen that. Neither one of you.
No, we're slacking. Unfortunately, yeah.
I can just tell you that the Fritz guy was great on there. It was just like Fritz, and then some of the other characters weren't the same.
Yeah.
But
really?
So I don't want to give you no spoilers on that. I thought it was well done. I just didn't like that they left one of the Von Erichs out.
Right.
So that's the main thing everybody's saying, I guess.
Yeah, they omitted Chris.
Out.
Yeah. Oh, Mike. Okay, gotcha.
I think it was Mike. Yeah.
Man, yeah.
Is there a lot of actual, wrestling action shit?
They show a few clips of, but it's not really. Then all the other characters, it ain't really them, so it's hard, man.
Yeah.
I still liked it, but it was inside because I was with all those Von Erich boys in 1978, and the one, and that man, that hurt, bro. And I can remember being with I remember being with David, Kerry, and Kevin, and we were in the car one time, and I hope I could say we were smoking a joint.
Yeah, you could say anything you
wrestled. I didn't care. I already had wrestled, and then it was the good stuff, bro. And I said, I am so glad I have my wrestling gear in the car, and I'm done. And then I told them, I said, how y'all going to go in there and face your dad now, and you still got to wrestle? And I said, man, I couldn't go face your dad right now. If they called me right now and said, do we need you, Sierra, for whatever? I'd say, tell them I'm gone. But God bless, man. They were all so good to me, and Fritz treated me good. I've seen where he could be a hard ass when he, but he was taking care of his territory,
Right.
Yeah. And, so, I was with Mike Von Erich in Japan, and then me, Blackpart, whatever, we're in a 6-man tag. I'm bouncing out to Japan. All of a sudden, y'all over there, what's this, Cuban? And we're in a 6-man, and me, Blackpart, and Mike, and it was Mike's first tour ever to Japan. And man, he was letting them Japanese guys eat him up.
Yeah.
We kept telling him, fight back. And he came and tagged us, and tagged Bart first. Bart started fighting like crazy. And then I was telling him, bro, you can't let them. If you don't fight back, you got the rest of the tour. They're going to eat you up.
Yeah,
they're going to tell all me soft. And he got it, you know. And I know because my first tour there, the same thing happened. I had a guy named Maeda or something. It was like a kickboxing #2 in Japan or something.
Yeah.
Man, he took me to the corner, bro. He hit me with so many kicks out of nowhere, boom, 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 and they were stiff as hell. That I seen like 3 or 4 of him, and I said, I'm going for the one in the middle, and I punched him as hard as I could. And I got him good, and he like loosened up, you know. It was like, you know, and I was like, sure. So I always, you know, I told Mike then, and then little did I know, like maybe 2 months after that, or a little bit longer, what happened with him was a tragedy, and I never thought that would happen, but it did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's horrible, man. It's horrible. While you were over in Japan, I saw you actually got to work with Andre and Inoki as well.
Yeah. That had both best of both deal there, because one time me and Andre teamed up against Inoki and the office guy, Sakaguchi, the big tall guy, and we wrestled, and we had a hell of a tag match, you know. And of course, Inoki pinned me, but it was still fun, and Inoki liked me, and you know, without breaking kayfabe back then, and we'd be, you know, the fans wouldn't be in the building yet. Inoki'd be over there outside of the dressing room on his side doing squats, and I'd be outside my dressing room, believe it or not, doing squats too back then. And Inoki would scream, "Assassin!" And you know, and I knew he, you know what I mean? You know when you get along good, but I got along good with Andre too. Andre had sponsors, and he would always grab Tony St. Clair from England and me and Mass Superstar. And one time we were invited, and Andre said, "Okay, you guys come, but don't tell Dickie Murdoch, God bless." And I never showed nothing to Dickie, and I felt bad, but I guess, you know, Andre didn't want Dickie to start bugging his sponsor. And then all I know is the next thing you know, there was Dickie with a sponsor.
He got in.
Yeah, he got in anyway. And then, man, we drank and all that, and then we went back to the Keo Plaza, and Andre had his own drink there, bro. It was like, they called it the machine or something, but what it was, or the black machine or whatever, what it was a tall, skinny glass, but tall, and it would be full of rum, and I loved rum back there. That would be full of rum, and then there would be like an inch where you could put a little bit of Coke to give it a little color.
Oh, man.
So
just for color.
I drank one, and I said, "Oh, that wasn't that bad." And Andre just looked at me with the face of, you know, you know, and I drank another one. I drank the third one. I said, "Man, I gotta go to the restroom." I got up. I got to the door, and the throw up flew from the door of that bar, Plaza, to the wall. I never made it to the bathroom. I was out.
Man,
projectile.
So Andre, Murdoch, and Bill Eadie put me on the luggage cart. They took me to the elevator, took me to my room. They dumped me by the toilet, and then I went. You know, I was out like a light, throwing up, back out, and I can remember like hours later, Dickie Murdoch was beating on my door, and he said, "Come on, Bubba, we're gonna go to the sauna, and that'll get that hangover out of you, you know." So I thought I was gonna die. I went to that sauna deal, and I was sweating, and I was like, "Oh man!" I thought this is it for me.
Yeah.
Andre seen me that night or whatever, or whenever we went, and he laughed at me. But I got lucky to team with him. And then, you know how Japan, you go far, far away. And then it was the opposite. It was me and somebody else against Andre and Inoki.
Man.
Yeah. You know, but you can get away with it back then because there wasn't no internet and it wasn't everything. It was, you know, towns are so far apart where you'd end up in a train for days or a bus.
Yeah.
But those are some of the best times. But anywhere Andre, you know, I always tell people, they say, how was Andre? I say, well, just like with God Bless Brody, if he liked you, it was great. If he didn't like you, he could make things hard on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
That's a good story, though. I like that, the drinking story. That's a good one.
Did the sauna fix everything?
No.
No.
No, I still got soup or whatever, and I was still like, I said, I ain't never drinking again. That night they had me drinking beer and like crazy. And I'm like, go boy, you know. But I could tell you another Andre story.
Please.
Going back to Portland, he didn't care for Buddy Rose for some reason.
All right.
Okay.
And so now it's me, Rip Oliver, and Buddy Rose against him, Jay Youngblood, and Joe Lightfoot in Seattle, Washington. So Buddy has him like in a headlock, and Andre's like just like a regular guy on a deal, and Andre just takes him back like for a pin, and he shoves his thumb between his trunks up Buddy's butthole. Bro, Buddy's eyes, we'd have to have been there, his eyes open up like light bulbs. And I said,
that's a big old thumb.
And I'm so glad Andre likes me.
Yeah.
Yeah. How big would you say Andre's thumb is?
I don't know.
That's funny.
Oh, man.
Andre's thumb is packing.
Packing all the way, bro. Sharp talking, man.
Easy way or hard way, Playboy. So, one of the things I want to hear about is your Broadway with Flair when you were working the Top Gun gimmick. I would love to hear about working a Broadway with Rick.
Oh my God! See, Rick. I love Rick, and he helped me. Him and Kevin Sullivan helped me go to WCW when I went the first time, and but I worked Rick and beat him in a town in a non-title match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, but Don and them, they wouldn't send a camera crew, like, you know, they should have recorded that, then shown it, and the people would have, you know, it still packed it when we worked. So now I'm wrestling Flair, and I already did my promo that I beat you once, you know, but you didn't have the title on the line, and I'm going to beat you again. And we ended up doing an hour draw, but, you know, Rick would start chopping me until my chest was bleeding, but he would say, come on, lay him back in, big man, you know, and I did. But, you know, I always got along great with Rick, you know what I mean? And what I seen other people didn't, but you know, and so we ended up doing the hour, and then I asked for 5 more minutes, and he gave it to me and pinned me with the crossbody then, you know? Yeah.
The classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I hit him with the crossbody and did that float over deal or whatever, and 1, 2, 3, and that was it.
The roll through.
Was he the hardest chopper?
And you know what? I can tell you, Buddy Roberts was going Buddy Valentine in Dallas.
Okay.
And he had Johnny Valentine in his corner, and he had them little tiny hands. And I'd rather get chopped by Sweet Hands' giant hand or whoever than Buddy Roberts' little hand. He had my chest beat, and I was chopping him back to save me. But his little hands, I was like almost trying to block him there at the end. It just stung so much, the little tiny hands.
Yeah, man.
Sure, you know. Never mind, I went to Ric Flair in Bolivar, a 12-minute match with Buddy Roberts and Buddy Valentine at the time, and Johnny laughing in the corner because he loved that, you know.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. How was he to know? Did you know Johnny pretty well?
No, I just knew him like that, you know what I mean? And sort of low down, you know, respect deal, but we never were like close like that.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And then you worked in Mexico as the Boricua. How was working in Mexico? Because this is something Wolfie can definitely relate to. He worked down there as well. So.
Oh, man. We went as the Boricuas. It was me, Ricky Santana, Miguel Perez Jr., and then even Kevin Quinn. We had him like a Boricua, too, at one time. But I had great matches there. It's hard to adopt to. At first, I was like, you know, because you know how high the elevation of, you know, you be in Arena, Mexico.
Right.
And I couldn't hardly breathe up there, you know, wearing a mask and all that. There was times I would literally get drop kicked to the floor and literally put my face underneath the mat, pull my mask up for a second because I couldn't breathe. I was going to die. Yeah. But,
and you know, did you like the rings, the bumping in the rings? Were they?
Oh, that rings was hard, man.
Yeah.
He did that on purpose because I done told him my first night in. You know, I kept thinking,
you see, Dallas ring was just as hard though. So I just, you know.
Oh, really? Okay, gotcha.
Dallas ring was a hard ring, and the ring posts were made out of cement.
Oh my God!
If I remember, you know. So they just permanently just soon all they had to do was take them on and put them up, you know.
Yeah,
because they had concerts every now and then in Dallas.
Right.
But back to Mexico though, we had a good run there, man. I did Mass versus Mass with Pierrot, and it drew the biggest house Mexico had drawn in years.
Really?
That CMLL, the arena there, it was sold out.
Yeah,
and I lost the mask. They had first time ever. My wife was there, like my manager, but they wouldn't let her. First time ever, they let her come to the ring, get in the ring, and then they made her go sit almost like by ringside until the match was over.
Yeah.
I lost the hood, which I still got all that. I'm trying to sell it, you know.
Oh, cool.
Original, you know.
Yeah.
But we did. So then after that was a Pierrot. And we had good matches, but we had matches where it was me, Ricky Miguel against the Headhunters. And I remember one time the Headhunters, we had the one Headhunter down on the floor with us because we knew the other Headhunter was going to flip up the top onto us.
Yeah.
And we never told the big brother. He was mad at us. I said, man, ain't that big old Headhunter going to flip on me. On us, you know, I said we were still going to get creamed, and he did it, but we pulled his brother right in the middle, so he broke the fall a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but we had great matches with them, and then later on we had hair matches, me and Ricky, and we lost our hair. They got paid good money, you know. Victor Quinones got his little cut because he was the one that booked us there.
Yeah. Speaking of Los Boricuas, and especially you as the Boricua, I know that Miguel went on to work with Savio in the WWF in that faction, the Los Boricuas. Were you invited for that, or was that anything that...
No, because it ended up being Savio, Miguel, and Cheo Estrada.
Okay.
You know, It was sort of like me and Ricky got left out because the original Boricuas was there in Mexico.
Right,
it was
right.
Miguel, Ricky, Santana, and me.
Yeah.
And, you know, but you know how the business goes.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know if that was like a specific thing about all being Puerto Rican or something versus, you know, whatever, but I didn't know if that had anything to do with it or if it was literally just how the business is and you just didn't.
It was literally, you know what I mean? Victor Quinones, I think, lined them up with you get to go to New York, and we didn't get to go.
Were you? Did that bug you a little bit? Just to be, I'm sorry if this is a question.
I mean, sort of. You know what I mean? But it's you know how this business is. Look at
it is what it is.
Yeah, you know, I said earlier about that open door policy. I said I remember Dusty was the booker because he took all of us from here in Florida, and he started booking for Crockett, and then Crockett said you need to let go like 20 guys, or I forget. And Ricky got to stay. I was one of the guys getting cut, but he said, y'all don't got to worry. You got it done the month here. Then y'all got to, And I went in and I called Don Owen. Remember I told you that open door policy? I called Don Owen, and he said, you start this Saturday. And this was like on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Went to the office, and Dusty was like, baby, what do you want? Why you want to leave, man, like this? I said, no, you're the one that said I got to go in a month. So I said, I'm leaving now.
Right.
I got an opportunity to go back to Portland and got a second hill spot.
Yeah.
But Dusty was always
quite the story, Fidel. You've had quite the career. And before we wrap it up, Jimmy, do you have anything else you want to ask him?
Yeah, just talk about your wife, Fantasy, man. Tell us a little bit about her real quick.
She is so great, man. She's been managing me since 91, 92.
Yeah.
And we've gone all over from Puerto Rico, and she had so much heat in Puerto Rico with the brick in the purse that literally, her first deal that she managed me there, they started rioting in a little building, and they knocked all the lights out, so we had to hide in the dressing room. And then we went, we went to India together. She managed me there, managed me in the Bahamas, and she loves the business like I do, and she's always, Carlos loved her because she could pull off. Hell, they had her speaking Spanish, and then the next thing I knew, I'd say, wait a minute, we just had like a 4-minute promo, and I only spoke like a minute. And they would rib me. They said, because we understand your wife's Spanish better than yours. And I thought, but she was great, man, and it helped draw money in Puerto Rico. And, and it helped, everywhere we've been. And we were in England, and we were over there for Brian Dixon's All-Star Wrestling, and she was a big part of that. And I love her with all my life, man. And because and you get lucky if you got a wife that's part of the business with you and can put up with, all the stuff that crazy ass wrestlers do.
What was that, Jimmy? What was the name of our show we did? Top 10 what? Where it was the Christmas presents, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where I said 10. the number one Christmas present that I would give to a wrestler would be a ride or die girlfriend, wife, whatever, that's just, down and gets it. That just gets it.
Understands the business and doesn't get jealous,
Yeah. And I always told her, and this is, I said, I don't care what you see anybody else doing. And she always knew that from the time she started. It's none of our business.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if you're friend with this guy's wife or that, whatever you see on the road, if you see something stupid, it ain't none of our business. And she never, she knew that.
Yeah.
Man, it just sounds like you met the right one, though. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody thinks like that anymore. And that's not just the wrestling business. I think it's everywhere that everybody wants to be up in everybody's business and stooging and all that kind of stuff. But
I mean, I don't want to go over, but I tell you what, I had previous marriage years and years ago.
Yeah.
And that person, the wife, told me it's either me or the business. And I said, what? And I said, you don't want to put me on that spot.
Right.
And she said, no, you got to. And so I said, well, I guess I'll see you later. We can just divorce. I love the business. So I ain't leaving it.
Right.
And that's how it ended up.
See you on the other side.
Look, I ended up with the best wife in the world.
Well, it's like paying dues, right? You paid dues all through wrestling. At the very beginning, you had to pay your dues to get to where you ended up. Now you had to pay your dues with the early women to get to the good one.
Exactly.
To make you
that's right now. Not only she's my best friend, wife, manager, And I love her with all my heart, man.
That's awesome, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, dude.
Yeah, for sure. Where can I know you said you got some stuff you're trying to sell or whatever, or where can the folks get a hold of you on social media? I said a hold. I did Buddy Wayne there.
Buddy Wayne,
grab a hold. Get you a hold, son. But where can they get a hold of you?
I'm going to try to list some more stuff on eBay here soon.
Cool.
And but I got so much of classic, which I'm trying to get hooked up with the person to get rid of. I got the original Boricua mask, the whole 9 yards, and even I lost that mask, but I still got it. And I got the guy that wrestled that beat me for the mask. His mask all tore up. Pierrot. And so I got all that, and and I'm trying to sell that and a bunch of others, really good wrestling gear that
Now is that are you going to have it linked from say your Facebook or whatever to eBay, or do you have a handle on eBay?
I'm going to work on it again. We did have a bunch we were selling on eBay. I had all these Portland old wrestling magazines. And it was called WrestleMedia from Portland, and I sold so many of those. I don't know how many I got left. And I was selling them for $25, $30, and then I'd throw 8x10 and on there or whatever, whichever character was on there. So it'll be on eBay soon again, and then I'm trying to, like I said, find a auction place that I can auction off some of this wrestling stuff. One time I almost sold one at the convention, one of my old robes.
Yeah.
And the guy said, "Why would you sell that? Why would you sell that for $600 or $800? You can get $2,500 for that."
Yeah.
The white, and I said, "Yeah, And then the person I was going to sell it to, even for the $800, he backed out at the at the end of it all. But
it is that way sometimes.
But other than that, I just did yesterday here, because they got Royal Rumble coming up.
Right.
Yeah, I saw you got a little news spot on there. Yeah, on the local news.
They came. They did a deal with me a few months ago where we had flooding here by my house. So they said, and then all of a sudden the guy called me and said, "Hey, we want to do a little about your career a little bit, and then talk about your Royal Rumble predictions or whatever." I said, "Sure." And they came by, and 2 hours they were with us. And then my wife got home, and she was in 2 hours for a 2 minutes little
segment. Yeah.
Right. It was good. It got me good publicity around here, around home.
Right.
Maybe they'll send me a booking somewhere.
Well, for the people who are keeping score, who do you predict to win the Royal Rumble?
Man, I think I predict CM Punk but then that's so obvious that he would win.
Right.
That I'm almost thinking they're going to let Cody Rhodes win it for a second time.
Like Stone Cold did. I think that's the way to go. Yeah, let's do it that way. Finish the story, right?
Yeah, exactly, because that's what I do think. I think to finish the story the right way, they do need to let Cody Rhodes win that. Here's my prediction. You're going to laugh. I say WrestleMania.
Okay.
CM Punk is going to beat Seth Rollins, even if it's just for a short run for his world title.
Okay.
And Cody Rhodes somehow is going to end up, rather it beats the Tribal Chief, or because the Tribal Chief's going to wrestle The Rock. It doesn't have to be for the title. It just can be for a match to the head of the table.
Right.
So then I see where then Cody would wrestle whoever and fulfill the story.
Right.
His dad, his dad never got to do. And then it doesn't matter how long you have it or whatever, at least you filled the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, you're like you said, The Rock doesn't need the title. It doesn't need to even have the title involved. It's all about the head of the table.
What I mean.
Yeah. So
it doesn't matter who needs the title.
The winner, if it's the winner is a Tribal Chief,
Right. He's got to finish that story. So
so that's that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't see The Rock even that. I don't see, because I don't think The Rock wants to wrestle that much, and
Right.
And Roman Reigns, he's got, he's got a good deal, man. He don't have to wrestle that much, and a lot of them because of his health issues from the past. And
right.
But people knock him. I have a lot of respect for I have respect because, like, if it wasn't for Ada, might be Rocky Johnson, God bless, and King Curtis, the late King Curtis, I'd have never been. They helped me go to Dallas in 1978 for the first time. So they opened that door for me. And Dwayne I remember The Rock was 6 years old.
Whoa.
I'd go to their house here. I'd go to their house here in Tampa, and he'd do something wrong. They'd take his toys away, and they'd leave the room, and I'd go give them right back to him. And Ada would give him. Anytime I see Ada Johnson, she always tells me, "Do you remember how you used to take we'd take Dwayne's toys and you would give them back to him?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry."
He told me when he became a famous actor, he would give me $1 million if I gave him his toys back. Remember that, Dewey?
But he did. I tell you what, we did do, and I know we're going overtime. He did do a show. He did a show. It was called The Rock One Night Only in Puerto Rico. For IWA. And I'll tell you how much he trusted me as Santana, Savio, they were all the bookers. Victor Quinones is still alive. And The Rock said, "Hey," and they called me into a room, The Rock, and he asked my permission, which he said, "Do you think if we put Savio Vega to be the special referee in this match?" And I said, "That would be unreal. The pop you're going to get when Savio comes out."
Right.
Yeah. But he asked me, because Savio, and I've known Ricky all my life, and Victor Quinones, they all of them were like, "Why did he call Fidel in there, not me?" Well, it's because I've known him since he was a kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so, man, those guys, but that was that's about Rock. God bless his dad, and I love his mom, and I love him. And anytime I was there, when God bless, when it was Rocky's funeral, and he was there, he gave me the biggest hug, and
Yeah.
it was hard, but
cool, man. That's a good relationship there.
Good, long-lasting relationship. But if it was my kid and you gave him his toys back, I'd be hot. Making my kid act up, Fidel.
Oh yeah, you'd be mad at me, right? Yeah, back then for that too.
You're teasing this boy. I think consequences.
The Rock should look back to those days.
Yeah.
And end up and saying, "You know what, Fidel, you can just fly down here to LA. I'm set you up in a nice hotel.
Right.
You and the wife, and give me a couple $100,000. I'd be happy."
Yeah, that'd be long. That was long-term booking right there, right? I mean, come on.
Sure. But man, we totally appreciate you coming on, man.
Seriously,
no, I
thank
love
you.
it. I love you guys, man, and I'm always glad. I always say, I love this. I don't do podcasts with too many people.
Yeah.
I got a couple other ones, but I'll be honest with you, I charge them, but I love this business, and I love to see. I'm not one of those bitter guys. I love to see all these wrestling promotions doing good. The independent scene, I love to see. People knock this into, I say, why knock it, man? Be happy the guys are learning a little bit about the business. Maybe it's ass backwards, but they're learning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They just don't have the opportunity to learn
the territories.
Especially
the right way.
But even me, but they're in there. It's the blind leading the blind a lot of times. The independence is definitely the blind leading the blind. It's very hard for these guys to learn the right way.
We had to go wrestle territories.
Right. Right.
And you were in there with people that knew what they were doing already. So
exactly. I wouldn't understand. Sometimes I'd say the sweet answer, "Why are you beating the hell out of me like this?" And I'm just trying to teach you, kid.
Right. Exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, Jimmy, we are going to wrap this up. And when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have Ask Wolfie D Anything. Again, thank you so much, Fidel, for coming on. The Cuban Assassin.
Thank you guys, man.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you, sir. And we'll be back right after this.
DJ, hit the music.
Ask Wolfie anything, whoa. Ask Wolfie anything,
right, we are back with Ask Wolfie D Anything. And one more time, man, the Cuban Assassin, Fidel Sierra, is
Give it up.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Much respect, man. Much respect.
Very cool, man. He had a story for every story, you know?
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
It makes the job so easy.
It really does. Y'all don't understand. I mean, maybe you do understand, but I'll just say this. You don't understand how easy it is when somebody like that just kind of takes over.
Yeah.
They're like, you boys just chill. I got this. Yeah.
I've been doing this, man.
Yeah. I can handle this. But anyway, so thank you, Fidel. Great show. Great. Thank y'all for listening to that. And we've got a little bit more for you here with Ask Wolfie. So now the very first question, for Ask Wolfie is from someone who's asked a few questions here recently. And that is Marty Confetti at I Broke Wahoo's Egg on Twitter. Okay. Right. So he says, circa 99 or so, there was a card in Tennessee with Wolfie D and Doug Gilbert taking on J.R. Smooth, a.k.a. Pre-Rikishi, and Glenn Kulka, I think. Wolfie and Doug were there to be faces, but a guy in the crowd recognized Fatu, and the entire crowd turned on them. Do you have any memories of this?
I remember working them as that, as far as their J.R. Smooth or whatever he was at that moment, and enjoyed working with him. Coco was, he was something to work with. Big, strong guy, cool dude. I don't remember the specific, match of where somebody, I guess it forced us to switch up in the middle of it. But hey, that's the art of old school. A little bit of ad lib. I'm sure we made it work. I mean, you got me, Doug, and Rikishi, who knew what time it was as far as that goes.
Sure.
And I'm sure Glenn went right along with it, and I hope that it was a good match and everybody was happy, because if that's what they wanted, we didn't really have a choice but to give it to them.
Right. So I want to come back to that, but he's got a little more about this that I think is hilarious. It says Wolfie and Doug had gimmick tables that night, and it was customary for the main event babyfaces to sign autographs after the matches. But they were nowhere to be seen that night. Basically, y'all dipped.
Well, I mean, you know me. I've told you the stories of the gimmick tables and Jamie wanting to go out every night, so I'm sure I wasn't too mad about it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, you were fine. You're like, oh, okay, here's a reason. So
I can't go out there. I got too much fucking heat.
Exactly. Let's not
keep talking about Byrd.
Yeah. You've already ran 2 intermissions, Byrd. It's okay, buddy.
Yeah.
But so has that happened to you a lot where they've switched on you
there's been times, man, dude. It's funny. Louisville kind of switched on us at the end, man. It was almost, I could feel the thing of, we had been shoved down their throats or something. And so then it was more of the guys our age and stuff like that were turning on us. You know what I mean? We were just getting a lot of heckling and yelling and it kind of did that there. That was, I think, the only town that I recall that happening in. I'm not going to say that it didn't happen it hasn't happened to me like on a show somewhere where I was supposed to be a heel and it didn't work out or whatever. I mean, shit happens. But
I mean, we've talked about New Church and TNA getting the heel pop,
right. But on a spot show, it's going to be a bit different because then you can interact with that specific person or those specific people and whatever. I mean, I know it's happened to me more than once, like on some kind of spot show, house show.
Sure. Yeah.
But I got to bring this up. Talking about Byrd, and going out there. But I just watched a match with me and Tommy Rich where we're on the floor, and Tommy sets me in a chair, and it's not a metal chair. It's like a wooden chair you'd have at your kitchen table or something. He clotheslines me, backwards out of the chair or whatnot, and the chair breaks. And Bert's doing commentary. It was evidently for TV. And Bert goes, "That's going to cost me $50."
Now Tommy Rich grabbing a wooden chair there from the Dixon Convention Center. Picking Wolfie D up by the neck section in the chair. And Tommy Rich takes him down, just broke the chair in half. Thanks a lot. That's going to cost me $50.
Man, I died, man. That was the best part of the whole match.
That's funny.
Because if you know Byrd, you just know. For him to put it on commentary is hilarious to me. Because he was shooting.
Yeah, I bet he was.
That's going to cost me $50. That little sarcastic little voice that he
Right.
does.
I can hear him saying it right now. Yeah.
But anyway,
that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. So, well, that would thank you for the question there. I broke Wahoo's egg. Definitely appreciate that. So, the next question is from old buddy Jeremy Flint. Great guy, and he's hilarious, man. I actually did the some kind of breakdown dance with him and Seven in a match at an NWA main event where apparently the Apache, that song, that you know what I'm talking about, it takes over and we all start dancing to it. Anyway, so but Jeremy's always there for funny things. He's a funny guy in the back too. And he asked this question. He says, closest to the nearest 100, how many times did your Saw theme play on repeat from Nashville to Memphis? Keep up the great listening, my friend.
I'm assuming I was with him in the car is what he's getting at.
Probably, yeah.
And I think that it probably when the band, and damn it, I can't think of their names right this second. Oh my God, that pisses me off. They edited one of their songs for me, the ones that played at Saw for me and all that.
Yeah. Good band.
I can't think of their names. They're so damn good. It's escaped me. Yeah. But at any rate, so from Memphis to Nashville, that song, okay. So let's call it a 2.5 minute song. I'm pretty sure it was short. Let's call it 3. So 3 minutes divided by, or 3 hours divided by 3 minutes, how many ever times that works out to there. So that's how many times, Jeremy.
Sure. So like 40 times, maybe something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But what I'm thinking is was it something to the effect of like you were really into it, or was it just something that was in the background as you were driving and you just kind of let it?
I was probably loving it and jamming to it. Probably
okay.
A few adult beverages and
I got it.
So we'll call it 60 times. But then again, I probably only listened to the first little bit where it had the wolf growling and all that stuff. So I might not have listened all the way through. So let's just double it. We'll call it 120. How's that?
120 times. I love it.
Yeah.
That's funny. I like it. Yeah, that was really cool, man. And I mean, if you think about it, if you've never been to the Sawmill, which I'm sorry about that if you've never been there, but small place, band's rocking. Wolfie's got his full Cerebus gear on. I mean, Cerebus.
Packed house for me. Yeah. Haggis, Cerebus.
Yeah, it was a big night, man.
Gimmick, versus the Tokyo Monster. Built it up for a big deal. Good stuff, man.
Good stuff and good fun. So anyway, thank you for that question there, Jeremy Flint. As always, good to hear from you, brother. So the next one is from our listener, actually great listener, Freshy Johnson. Definitely appreciate him. Mm-hmm. So he says, what do you think would draw more money? So great matches with little stories, like the majority of the wrestlers built as fighters or an athletic aesthetic, or shorter matches with a lot of storylines, majority of wrestlers with cartoon style, like superhero-ish gimmicks kind of thing?
That's a hard question there, because I feel like, okay, TV is for short matches and stories and all that to go to the arena and
draw them out.
Have long matches and stuff. But that's really not the formula these days. It's all TV basically.
Right.
So, you're not. I mean, I know WWE is coming near here. And I talked to a friend of mine up there, and going to take the kid and a friend of mine with me, Dustin, and try to show them a good time. And so what I noticed, they don't even advertise a card anymore. They really don't even say who's going to be there. They do show some pictures, like hinting at who's going to be there, but they really don't even give you a card. So the house show is not what it used to be, or not even supposed to be what it used to be. So That's kind of a hard. That's almost a question that is timed out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
You know, and I always, man, I love, superhero over the top gimmicks. We know that about me. And so I love that. But then there's a place for, like you said, the fighters or whatever, to make it the more UFC style wrestler, I guess, is what I'm looking for there. But you got to have a mix of everything, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Just don't have a mix of stupid in there. Make it make sense. And, there is a niche for everything. And I believe wrestling's always been like that, man. Back in the day, they'd have a ladies match. They'd have a midgets match. You'd have a tag team match. You'd have a opening wrestling match, basically, or a high flyers match or something like that. And then you get to your main events and title matches, more of a brawl style, depending on what territory you're in. And there was always, the hardcore has been around for a long time. It just, it's changed and evolved a little bit, but it's always been there, man. Especially in Memphis. They want to act like Memphis was all, jokes and laughing and stuff. That's absolutely not the case, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, and I mean, I think in a perfect world, you get a little bit of both, man. I think just having all of that on a card makes it fill out a little better to me, So
I mean, I don't care how good. And again, this is just me, and I know there's people that might argue this, but you put a match or card together, 8 matches, and everybody's doing high flying, no selling bullshit. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say bullshit, because it can be done correctly, in my opinion.
Right.
Strictly my opinion. But if you put a whole card together of that, I just feel like by the end of it, you're going, okay, seen this before. What time is it? Is it a kid's got to go to bed? Let's go home. I just really think that you're going to get burned out on it, man. You can't just watch the same stuff over and over. Yeah. But some people can. Some people really enjoy that style and could probably watch it until they die or whatever. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, no, and I mean, I just recently, last year, near the end of the year, around my birthday, went to a WWE house show, and it seemed like part of the show was to feed what was going on TV, and then a lot of the matches were like a lot of mid-card matches were building for what was to come. So it was like some of the guys were working, some guys you'd see them on TV with, some of them you didn't see until like right now, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was like some of the matches were building for a TV stuff, TV, showing or whatever. Right. Anyway, who knows what their total theory on it is. I hope y'all have fun when you go, man. And,
and it's good to see, honestly, that the guys and gals, it's like, I could tell they were having more fun,
Yeah.
They were out there, not on time restraints. Of course, they did have time, so don't give me that. But I'm saying quick TV time matches and all that and TV stuff, Yeah. It looks like they were out there just having more fun. And I will say that there's still dudes that can go out there and walk and talk and ad lib a little bit, man.
Oh yeah, totally
did. No. But, it just seemed like they was having a little more fun, man.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, well, he finishes up the question with a compliment. Of course, we're gonna put ourselves over here. So he says, just a compliment. I really enjoy that you guys talk more like an AM radio show. When you're talking about a person, you guys say their name while speaking about that person. Unlike a lot of podcasts that will speak of a person with pronouns like he, him, she, her, they, them. I'm just kidding. He didn't say that. But which is hard to follow and requires a lot of rewinding. Thanks for the show. God bless. Have a good weekend. Go Bills.
Yeah. The Go Bills. I mean, hell, I ain't got really nobody to root for anymore.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, and you know what? That's something that I have consciously developed while doing this podcast. So I've never had to really think of that before, but I've noticed, and I guess just watching or listening to other interviewers type thing, if someone says, well, I'll notice that the person will jump in and go, he, referring to yada yada. And so I do try to be conscious of that for myself.
and then as well as the person that we're talking to.
Right. And, you know, thinking about the listener, you know, it is something that I think is important, especially, you know, I think it's somebody would say something about Vince McMahon and how he would prefer, like, okay, say their name instead of pronouns, pal, you know, don't say he, say Seth Rollins or whatever, you know what I mean? Right. Be specific. And I think that is important, man. I do. I think, you know, trying, and maybe it's just something we've done unconsciously too, because I haven't really taken that perspective. So maybe I'm just feeding off of you. I don't know, but I don't think about it that way, but I guess I do that. So it's good. I'm glad. Thanks, Freshie.
But yeah, that's, I actually have really honestly thought about that myself. And I'm like, this is a new thing that I've developed here.
you can always learn something, even as an old dog, right? That's the thing. So yeah. I just called you old. Sorry, man.
Ouch.
Well, anyway, that's all I got today. Thanks, listeners, for sending your questions. That was awesome.
Yeah, send us more.
Oh, yeah.
Because it sparks a conversation about stuff we might not usually talk about.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the point of this, is not necessary to really just pick my brain. I mean, I guess you can if you want, but it also just sparks up a little conversation like we just did.
Stirs the pot, right? Stirs the pot a little.
It does. But,
I like it.
Great show today. And again, thank you guys for tuning in next week. Should have another good one for you. So we do our best. And we are going to continue to do that as long as you guys are listening, I reckon.
There you go.
Hit subscribe, you son of a bitches. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Wolf.
Gosh, we love the numbers that we get on the downloads and the listens, however you want to say it. But we got to get them subscribers up. We got to get that part of it up.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know how much y'all would help us out if y'all would just subscribe, or just go over to your grandma's house and grab her phone. You know, she may or may not know how to use it, depending on what kind of grandma you got, and just go on there and subscribe her, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Subscribe to your little brother, and
yes, they'll love the show. We promise.
Subscribe.
Just subscribe. That's all we're needing. Yeah.
Free subscription too. I mean, what the hell?
I mean, there's some. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. So there's a lot there, and we're putting more all the time. And any kind of focus and help you can do with this.
And y'all got to give it up for Jimmy's reels, the little parts of the stories and how he somewhat animates them with pictures. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's other folks got different ways of doing theirs and things like that, but I think ours is now unique, and it's all on you, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
Give you much props on that.
I try.
So anyway, enough about Jimmy.
Keep going.
We're going to call it a day. And like I said, we'll be back next week with something really good for y'all. Tune in again. Thanks.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Sheik, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Kroll, and you're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling with Jimmy Street and Jarrett the Plastic Sheik. Be sure to like, subscribe, and view all of our USWO and Saw Wrestling content at Nashville Wrestling Network, exclusively on YouTube.
That's right, it's the talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Join me, Gene Jackson, for the Jackson Interaction Podcast, where I'll be doing one-on-one interviews with people from the world of professional wrestling, as well as stand-up comedy. You can get them anywhere podcasts are available in both video and audio form, but you can find them all at genejacksonpod.com.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at WarrenWolf13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at James Rock Street on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
I got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap for your dome.
He got a cap
for your dome.
And here we go. The original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth. Still livin' in color, bum rush your mother, utilize a hubcap, unlike any other. Back in the day, I was N-O-D, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. In case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D. Been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip hop. Been doing it like this since 92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks than Obi-Wan or Vader. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome.
We got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.